welcome to yet another Buffalo Bills pregame show, broadcasting here from, what is the, Studio F?
Yeah.
Studio F, one of my favorites, to be honest. It is the 2019 draft preview show, often one of our most popular ones, so welcome back. We haven't seen you in a while. We're always happy to have our devoted following. So, we haven't spoken since the end of the season. There's been signings of all the Bills' moves so far, with all the money they had to spend. What do you think is going to be the biggest impact on the team?
We have a center now.
It's been a season without one, yeah?
Well, I mean, no, in all seriousness, though, we picked up, we did a lot of stuff, but we did a lot of little things. There wasn't any one...
Is that a short joke about Cole Beasley?
No, but now since you say it, I guess it kind of is. But no, I mean, like, Cole Beasley's not a number one receiver. John Brown's not a number one receiver. There really is no particular player besides signing Mitch Morse that is actually a big signing, really. But I mean, we addressed almost every position we had to. We addressed receiver. We needed to do that. We addressed the line. Like right now, the projected line looks completely different than last year's line.
At least, in my opinion, they didn't go out and overspend a whole lot of money on someone. Like they didn't make a mistake of just like throwing a ton of money at Antonio Brown or someone else and really just...
That's something we should talk about. Yeah, now since you bring it up. We did try to do that, though. Like, I think as we all recall, like, Ian Rappaport told us at midnight, oh, it's pretty much a done deal between the Bills and Antonio Brown. I wake myself up at 7 a.m. to do my reaction on my personal channel. And I'm setting up the camera, and I'm like, wait a minute, did it actually go through? I better check before I make this video. And sure enough, there's Adam Schefter say Bills fall through with a deal. So we tried it. That was we showed our cards, and we failed.
But I'm happy to not, though. Like, I'm glad they ended up the way it did. I think it's best for the long-term survival of the franchise. So
you're happy that we didn't get one of the best receivers in the league?
At the price that we'd have to pay and with the sideshow that come with it, I just don't see him being a match in the process.
Okay. There you go. Okay, I'll just counterpoint that very quickly.
Yeah.
It's been so long since we've had a true number one receiver on this team. I would say the last one legitimately.
T.O.
That was a year. I mean, Stevie was never our true number one, but he was our obvious number one receiver when he was, and then Sammy was never number one because he always got hurt. So. I don't know. I want a true number one again. That's just where I'm going with this.
I mean, the glory days of Fitz to T.O. for 99 yards. I'm surprised that's not like your favorite Bills memory of all time.
It's one of them.
Record breaking.
It's one of them. Fitz is in shape right now.
Oh, I know. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
All right. So with the draft picks that are coming up, what position do you think would be the most important for the Bills to address going into the draft?
See, what's really interesting about that is, I really had to look at the projections before, like the current depth chart, to figure out like what that would be. And unfortunately, where the best prospects are don't really match up with that need position. And the position I'm referring to is corner. No one's really talking about the fact that there's really no strong player opposite TreDavious White. Like last year we had Vontae Davis, and as we all know, week 2 he pretty much decided to say, "See you later, Buffalo."
So what about defensive end or defensive line, offensive line?
I want your opinion on this too, because that seems to be the expert's choice in what the Bills should do. But in my opinion, I don't really think D end is a huge need. D tackle perhaps because of the rushing defense last year. But for the most part, I mean, I feel like we have players that are already lined up to start. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
I, of course, always think that the quarterback's the most important position on the field, and I think we should be getting offensive talent before even thinking about defensive talent. Now, what do I think the Bills are actually going to do?
Yeah.
With Sean McDermott being a defensive coach and there being a lot of depth up front in the defense, I wouldn't be surprised at all if we walk away with a defensive tackle or a defensive end. But if I'm in that spot, your career more or less rests on Josh Allen. If he succeeds, you're going to have a long career in the league.
Right.
You know, if he doesn't, you're not going to be long for Buffalo. You might get another job, but
Right.
You've got all your cards on the table, so either keep on surrounding him with talent or an idea I proposed years ago, just keep drafting quarterbacks. Whatever quarterback's
I knew this
up
was
next.
coming from
whatever
you.
quarterback is up
Man,
next.
I thought you were done with it. I thought finally after Allen you'd be done with this, but now you're like, no,
Well,
Drew Lock, first overall. Can't wait to see this mock.
Keep the pedal to the metal, like if Josh works out and we have another quarterback who's never seen the field,
Okay.
few things in the league are more valuable in a draft status as a prospect that was highly thought of as a quarterback who hasn't seen the field and hasn't had the chance to prove that he's an idiot in the NFL. Like we see time and time again where these high-touted backup quarterbacks that never really got to see any time get traded for a king's ransom. And so if Josh Allen does work out, we got trade bait. If not, down the road, we need a quarterback in this franchise.
I agree with that, but I also agree that we also have to. We made our bed, like you don't just get married and start looking for other women.
Accuse me otherwise. Speak for yourself.
All right,
speak for yourself.
All right, let's play reality here. Like you don't get married, you start looking for other women a week later. All right, you try to stick the marriage out as long as you can.
At least 3 years.
As I'm already predicting like this horrible point of view on marriage, but you see my point though. Like you got to give them chances. And the one thing I don't want the Bills to do in this draft is exactly the opposite of what you want. I don't want them to draft a quarterback at all in any round.
I'd rather them surround him with talent.
I agree. Yeah. Okay. So we agree there. I just don't want them to draft some stupid player.
Peterman.
But you know what I'm saying? We're going to draft another Peterman, and then
Nathan Peterson with a mustache.
Yeah, and we're going to throw him in, and I don't want to deal with that. We got to give Allen the proper look. I didn't like the Allen pick. You know this, but like we got to give him the time now. We made our bed. We got to give him every opportunity to prove he does well, and then finally, and it might take a few more years, guys. It really might. And then finally, after 4 years of failure from Josh Allen, we could be like, you know what? I don't think he has it, and then we try again.
I mean, if I had my way, I think T.J. Hockenson would be awesome to watch on Sundays. I think that'd be a fun way for the offense to go. But I would rather them pick a quarterback before a defensive player. That's all.
Okay.
So of all the positions in the draft, in the depth of the draft, which one do you think is the greatest fall off? Like, if there's a position that we need to draft right away because what's coming behind it isn't as good. I've heard the opposite for cornerback. There's not a big push for cornerback draft early because there's a lot of depth.
I'm hoping, well, not really hoping, but I think it's going to be BPA. I think it's going to be best player available at 9. Whatever comes along that's at the top of Mel Kiper's chart, they'll go with. And or the other thing I think they'll do, which I'm not going to predict in this show, is that they're going to pick some unknown name player at the same position. Like somebody I have marked as the 9th best tackle, and they're going to pick him 9th.
The Aaron Maven pick.
So, yeah, I mean, you're looking at Nick Bosa, Quinnen Williams, Josh Allen, Ed Oliver, Montez Sweat, TJ Hockenson, Kyler Murray. Well, we're not going to draft quarterback. Devin White, Jonah Williams, Christian Wilkins, etc. See, most of these guys are all edge rushers. Most of them are all D tackles. We're not going to probably sway too far away from that, especially since the experts are calling that a need. So I think that's just what's going to end up happening.
All right, we shall see. I think it's time. We'll reveal what you think will happen for the first 10 picks of the 2019 draft trade.
Cardinals, I think they're going to try again with quarterback and go with Kyler Murray. 49ers, I mean, they're going to pick the best player in the draft at this point. They'll go with Nick Bosa. Jets, they're going to find a way to have Josh Allen sack Josh Allen, so they're going to go with Josh Allen.
Twice a season.
Twice a season from Kentucky there. Raiders, oh goodness, we got Gruden here. So what are the Raiders going to do? Are they going to pick the best player? Are they going to go off the charts? They're going to go off the charts, I think, and they're going to go with Clelin, Ferrell, defensive end out of Clemson. Not a bad player, ironically, somebody the Bills might end up with, but
because he's from Clemson.
But yeah, I think it's going to be somebody that that shouldn't be as high, but they're going for him anyway, unless they trade. Bucks, I have them going Devin White, linebacker out of LSU. Giants, I finally have them picking a quarterback, going to a backup Manning for a couple of years. Dwayne Haskins out of Ohio State. Jaguars, they just got Nick Foles. They got to protect him, so they're going to go with Jawaan Taylor out of Florida. Greedy Williams. So that's a possibility for the
Strong man.
Bills, but I have the Lions grabbing him before the Bills, which is why they don't go with him. Which means the Bills are going to go, as you can see on your screen already for the last couple of minutes here, with Quinnen Williams, defensive tackle out of Alabama. And then the Broncos go with Drew Lock, quarterback out of Missouri, screwing over Joe Flacco once again. So a lot of people have Quinnen Williams at the top of the draft board. My thought is if the Raiders do something off the wall, it might throw off the entire flow, and we might actually have some players fall to Buffalo, and that's what we have to be on the lookout for.
All right. I also have Kyler Murray going first overall to Arizona. I think they've gotten word from the NFL just to like hush up about like we all know you're taking this guy.
Yeah.
Just like be quiet about it. Pretend like you're just nothing else. I also have Nick Bosa going to the 49ers. I have Quinnen Williams going to the Jets.
Ooh.
The Raiders will pick up Montez Sweat out of Mississippi State, with the Buccaneers going linebacker. I think you had him in a similar spot. Devin White.
Yep.
The Giants need to protect poor old Manning in those ancient years, so they'll go Jonah Williams, offensive tackle. The Jaguars will pick up my dream of T.J. Hockenson with their need at tight end. The Lions will pick up defensive tackle in the middle, Ed Oliver. And Bills seem to love those Clemson players, so I have them taking Christian Wilkins at defensive tackle, and Josh Allen falls all the way to number 10 for the Broncos.
Wow. Okay, that's definitely different than mine, but that's good. That's a good thing that there's some variety here. So we both have defensive tackle going to the Bills. And did you do the same thing I kind of did, just based it off your needs?
Yeah, team needs,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Or position in the draft,
Yeah.
I should actually say. Okay. So there you go. I think Greedy Williams is a possibility, though. Just rethinking this literally as we're shooting this, like if he's not grabbed before, it's possible that the Bills might go in that direction.
It wouldn't be the worst. I guess I'd prefer that over defensive tackle, but I still I think offense is the way to go.
Yeah, well, maybe you'll get your dream. Yeah, because we signed a tight end. That's something we didn't talk about, Tyler Croft, in the offseason. So, I mean, that position is not really solidified.
It's not a dire need.
Yeah, but, I mean, it's not a dire need, but it's also not solidified. Like, this is our guy. So, I mean, you never know. Maybe we'll do something like that.
It has been an interesting offseason in sports in Buffalo outside of the Bills.
True.
We had a little excitement with the Sabres, or anti-excitement.
Yeah, a little behind the scenes for you guys. We were planning on doing the Sabres playoffs for you around this time, and, well, clearly we're not doing that. And then there was supposed to be some UB basketball coverage, but there was that stupid first four that didn't tell us Arizona State was going to play Buffalo until right at the end, so we didn't really have time to shoot it. But the one thing I want the world to realize is, yeah, everybody's been talking about football or basketball with UB, but UB is 8th in the country right now in table tennis. They're reaching out.
All right. Well, we'll look forward to some UB Bulls ping pong coverage in the not too distant future, but until then, we'll see you after the draft.
Sounds good.
Go Bills.
Ah. Like, give me a second here. So, I'm actually using these papers for once. How about that? One of these papers has the best, the needs. No, it's the prospects. The prospects. Thank you. Thank you very much, Randy.